Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing. How are you doing? Today we are doing a product comparison of 4 products from Turtle Wax. We're going to be looking at, this is their hybrid solution range. This is their ceramic polish and wax, an all-in-one abrasive polish with other materials in there that we'll talk about later on. This is their hybrid solutions ceramic acrylic black polish. So a black paintwork specific version. And here in the middle, you have their Hybrid Solutions ceramic spray coating, which is a water-based SiO2 protection product. And again, you have their ceramic acrylic black wax, which is their new version of that spray wax for black cars. We've got a lot of testing to do, a lot of things that are interesting that we need to talk about. Let's get the intro over and done. Join me in a second to find out if these products are any good. Good to see you guys. Welcome back. Hit the subscribe button if you've not already done so, and also check out the link for our Patreon page if you want to support the channel further and you get some value out of these videos. Now let's get stuck into this, guys. 4 products here. These 2 you might have heard of because they've been around for about 6 months or something like that in this new hybrid solution range. This all-in-one polish and wax costs £18, and this durable SiO2 ceramic spray coating costs £18. Now, they've just released this new black thing that we've talked about, this ceramic and acrylic. So it's ceramic plus one. We got every form of protection product known to man or beast. Ceramic, acrylic and wax in here, and some other stuff as well if you read the ingredients. But the acrylic is of interest. That's typically used as a filler, you know, acrylic resins, because you can dissolve them right down and then they harden and have a good filling effect. They don't advertise the use of the acrylics in these particular products. This, I believe, costs £20, and this costs £22, or they're going to be coming out in the UK in around about May, so it's very soon to when I'm shooting this video. You can buy these kits for £60, and in the kit you get both products. You get a couple of microfibers, I believe. You get a sticker, and then you either get the 125mm pad, or there's a kit that comes with the 150mm, 5-inch or 6-inch pad, depending on the size of your polisher. Most of them now are going down to 5-inch, but that's not true. You know, pick whichever one you want. So you don't get both pads, that's important. Okay, and the kit's all beautifully presented in a lovely box, and I'll overlay shots of all that sort of stuff. Now, what is the controversial thing, guys? Now, Turtle Wax has sent me all these products. The controversial thing for me is I am not the biggest fan of pigmented products. So there are products out there for cars, and you know, normally products are not pigment sensitive. So you have clear coat on top of your car. So under here I've got blue paint, I've got clear coat on top, and with the clear coat I've got scratches. And I use abrasive products to remove scratches, get the paint highly refined and burnished. And then once it's highly refined and burnished and glossy, I degrease it and I put a protecting product on top, you know, a sealant or a wax or whatever. Now you have these products out there on the market that are pigmented. So you might have a red car and you get a product for red cars with red pigment in it. You might have a product for black cars that has black pigment in it, and blue cars and blue pigment in it. And I've been not very critical, but I just don't buy them. I don't use them, and they don't fit in with the way that I detail cars. So I might not be the right person to send a pigmented product to, but it's my job to do this review fairly, without prejudice, and just give you my thoughts, and that's what we're going to do. What have we done in this video, guys? Well, we've taken a black test hood, because we want to compare the products on a black test hood, obviously, because it's a black specific paintwork thing. I know you get it. And we are also, strangely enough, testing both of these products, all 4 of these products, on a white test hood. Why are we doing that? And I want to do that. Someone suggested it in one of the comments of my video, whoever it was already on my mind. I want to do that to see if I can see any effects of the black pigment on a white panel. Can I see black thin lines of the pigment going into fine scratches? Can I see a dulling of the paintwork? or does it just not make any difference to my eye? That's why we're repeating the tests. We're also taking all pre-readings of the surface quality of our test panels, and we are then applying the products as per manufacturer's instructions and leaving them for 24 hours, because these products take 24 hours according to the label to cure. We are taking pre-readings with our Row-Point Gonio photometer. It's a very, very sophisticated bit of kit, the Row-Point IQ. Dual band gloss meter, log haze meter, R-spec meter, and RIC meter, reflected image quality, so distortion. And we are going to measure how well these products improve that. And then we're going to come back, look at the data and tell you which ones are the products that I think you should invest in, and whether this whole pigmented thing has any benefits that I can measure. So let's get straight on to the results of the testing, guys. So as mentioned, they've all been applied as per manufacturer's instructions, avoiding cross-contamination, using a different pad for each product, so we're not cross-contaminating and all that sort of stuff. Leave them for 24 hours. Here's the results for the white panel. Here's the results for the black panel. Ceramic spray, which is the green one. Ceramic polish, which is the red one. Black polish and black spray, okay, for 4 products. We're essentially comparing these 2 products here with these 2, and I will overlay you me taking the data so you can see that I've made these figures up. Certain stuff is crossed out on them, guys, because I spot little mistakes, like when you're doing haze, you actually want to see a reduction in haze. That's a reduction in haze, and that number is an improvement. So when that goes from there to there, that should actually be minus 5.1. I recorded it as plus and things like that, so it's very, very easy to make a little mistake. But well, as long as we talk about all those sorts of things. So if you spot a mistake in the data, let me know, and I'm just showing you it as well. So pre-application, post-application, here's the delta, and at the top we add up all the deltas. So a quick summary of what we can see going on here. First of all, the black spray on a white panel had a higher impact overall on our measurable deltas of 20-degree gloss, 60-degree gloss, reflected image quality, haze, and R-spec. Okay, not much in it, with over averages as well. Similar sort of ballpark, but the black one did better. Now the question remains then is, can you see the black pigment on the white panel? Does it make any difference? Is there like a shade of black over there? No, once you've buffed it, it just looks nice and glossy, and I cannot see any filling effect of the black pigment going into that white panel. So this product is not for white paint, but the results look quite good. But there must be some of that pigment sitting in there on that panel, and it wouldn't be, in my head, it wouldn't be desirable to have that. But from a data point of view, this one has performed the best out of the 2, which is interesting. I would love to get another bit of kit called a colour meter, a colour spectrometer that I've used before, and I don't think it would detect much in the way of colour shift. Colour is like a sphere, an axis of, green and red and blue and yellow form 4 axis, and then you have darkness on top and then lightness underneath, which forms a colour sphere where you can effectively, measure and set any colour on that sphere. I don't think these products would have a significant colour change because the layer is too thin of product. That's my opinion, and my eyes can't see the difference. Anyway, now let's move on to the polish, guys. The polish, the first thing to say on these polishes, the pre-gloss, the pre-application gloss readings are 60, which is pretty poor. And the haze on the panel was 74, 73. That's extreme haze. Normally, a good car should have 1 or 2 units of haze there. Closer to 0, the better. Bad paintwork from a detailing perspective is at, 8 to 10 is not particularly good. You should get lower haze than that if you refine the paint properly. Haze of 74 is just like awful. That's heavily oxidized. So this paintwork is trashed, basically. The first thing to say is both these ceramic and black polishes took that battered low gloss and raised it up to 91.5 for the normal ceramic polish and 86.7 for the black polish. So the first thing to take away is both of these polishes, with a pretty quick light pass on the flex cordless, had a massive impact on the gloss of that white panel, and I can see it's actually shining and I can see a bit of reflection on it. So they did fantastically well. And the 60-degree gloss meter readings, which effectively measuring the same thing from a different angle, were also massively incremented. Okay, the recorded image quality doesn't change that much. A little bit of a drop there, but and a little bit of an increment there, but nothing majorly significant. There's no reason why it would actually, in effect, polishing it would ever lower the RIC. So that's a measuring inconsistency. The big one is the log haze, guys. Both of these products, black and white, dropped the haze from a ridiculously high level down to 19 units here and 17.5 there. So about 55 units of log haze were removed. That's massively impressive. I mean, it's kind of what you'd expect, because oxidization on a panel kills the gloss and it looks flat. You go over it with the polish and you take off that oxidization and bang, the paintwork looks great. So the products are working, basically. These abrasives are working. And the aspect data is good as well. And funnily enough, the deltas on these two products are virtually identical. So again, from a simple way of measuring reflected image quality, the black polish has worked as pretty much the same as the white polish on the normal ceramic polish on the white test hood. And even though it's heavily pigmented, once I buff it, I can't really see any black lines or evidence of any black in that paintwork. And I'm sort of thinking, if I could see that black, that would really lower gloss. So maybe whatever's going on with this black pigment is more subtle than what I can see. Next, guys, I want to go over to our black panel, which you can see lurking just there at the back. Now, the first thing is our normal ceramic spray wax incremented 8.7 units on the deltas, and our black spray wax did 8.4. So actually the black product is less than the non-black specific product, but they're so close it doesn't matter. The main difference between the black panel and the white panel is the black panel pre-readings, and it was prepped, were all high. Okay, so it's a relatively glossy panel compared to our white panel. Now what we can say is these spray waxes added a little bit of gloss, you know, plus 2.8 and plus 5.3, so the black added a little bit more gloss there. We're not so interested in that. The RIC, we're not so interested in that. There's no significant change. The log haze, interestingly, there's no real significant change, but this added a tiny amount, and so did this one, not significant. And the R-specs, there was a decent +4 R-spec and plus 2.7, which is a decent increment of gloss. Those results are really consistent with whatever I see. That basically when you're testing on a high gloss panel around there, you can only increment a few units of gloss with these spray wax type products. It's just the laws of physics or whatever. Now we get on to the ceramic polish, guys, versus the black polish. This time on the black panel, interestingly, the black polish had better deltas than the ceramic polish, which is interesting. Now, where's that coming from? Where's that biggest? Oh, I'll tell you where most of that's coming from. It's coming from a low pre-gloss reading there. So it had a bit of an advantage. Its average pre-gloss over 5 readings was 10 units lower than the other side. It delivered the same amount of gloss, but it gave it a little bit of advantage. But let's not look too much into that data. Let's just say that the black polish has incremented the gloss figures better on a black panel than the ceramic polish. So that's good. But the caveat is its pre-gloss low reading gave it an advantage. Both these products have done a really good job of taking high gloss 80 and with a quick set adding around 7 units of gloss, which is probably perhaps what I would roughly expect. And they both delivered the same level of finish on the panel with these gloss meter readings. Okay, very, very similar results. In fact, the only thing that's significantly different with this is that the black unit incremented 3.2 units of haze on the panel, and the ceramic polish removed 1.7 units of haze. So there was a difference in haze performance, which I would expect actually on a pigmented product. Haze was one thing I was looking at very closely on this. Okay, and R-Spec, they both did a good job of incrementing R-Spec a lot. Again, a low pre-reading gave the black polish a good advantage, but the final readings of R-Spec were very close. In fact, the ceramic polish had the higher again. Okay, so guys, so that's crunching the data. Now I want to go through all the summary points of this video, which is the important stuff to take away. Okay guys, some very important summary notes here. First of all, the abrasives, what are they like to work with? They're quite loose abrasives, not quite as thick as some of the other ones I use. They're not oily abrasives. They feel like they're obviously an emulsion, but there's a good balance between the water. They're quite a thin abrasive. That's the easiest way of saying it. The abrasives, you can work them quite hard with the pads that Turtle Wax supply without any issues around dusting as far as I can see. Removal of the abrasives. These abrasives need a primary buff with a dry cloth to get that thick residue off, and that's quite a heavy buff. After that, there's going to be a limited amount of residue, and you have a damp, wet microfiber cloth that you rub over what's left, okay, which wets it and activates it according to their label, and then you do a final buff with a clean microfiber. And when you do that final buff, it feels great, and you see the gloss, and that's a nice touch. Some people will be put off with the idea of buffing products like that because it's not normal to have to do that wet buff. But for me, you can just have one wet cloth, and that will last you for a massive section before it sort of fills up with product. You don't want to be smearing more on there. So it isn't that big a deal, actually. It's actually quite nice. Once you've used this product, guys, it puts a hell of a nice gloss and finish on your car. And that is said, not just from using it on test panels, but I've used this on a whole one side of the Golf after claying it. It makes the car look glossy, and the data results here back that up. The paintwork is also slick and smooth, even with, no matter which product you use. If they've got this SiO2 stuff in, and when that cures, that tends to leave a really slick finish. And like when I'm taking the meter readings after I've applied it on here, I can feel the gloss meter thing wanting to slide all around the place where it's anchored in before on that rough oxidized paint. Okay, so that's some of the normal things. Some negatives about these pigmented products, guys. Black pigmented products, they're going to stain whatever they touch. If you get the black product on your fingers, you're going to see all this black stuff there. Yes, you get polish on your hand, white polish, and it's messy and stuff, but the pigment is more prone to staining. To show you that, I used the normal ceramic spray polish on this pad and the black one on this pad. Both these pads have been cleaned. I cannot get that out, so it's stained the pad, and it's an observation. That's what the review is supposed to do. Another negative with AOI products in general, all-in-one. What do I mean by all-in-one? Products that contain abrasives as well as gloss agents and protective agents. When you use those products generally, you cannot tell how much of the results are down to the abrasives or down to the filling. But the truth is that whatever results are not down to the abrasive are not permanent. So it's hard for you to gauge the quality of the paintwork when you're doing paint correction with AOIs. So these tend to be convenience products rather than professional products. Professionals, when they're doing paint correction, will want pure abrasives like this, so that you know when you wipe down and degrease, what you're seeing is what you get. Okay, so there's always a trade-off. So these are not miracle products. So some of your gloss is not permanent. Okay. Another negative with both of these products here, these abrasives, they need 24-hour cure time after that final third buff, after the wet buff. 24 hours before you can top them. That's a long time. That means you've got to wait the next day. And for guys at home, that means you've got to have, if you just like to clean your car on a Saturday and give it a polish, you've also now got to allocate a little bit of time on Sunday to do that. If your car's outside, it might get dusty. You might have to, you don't want to just go blasting the spray topper on dust. So that's a real negative. I would love if Turtle Wax could get that 24-hour cure down to about 4 hours, because I'm not sure even I would want to wait till the next day. Okay, both of these products, the protective qualities are not that hydrophobic compared to some of the Turtle Wax products. So it'd be great if they're all in one. The protection that it left behind was also hydrophobic, because then you might say, well, I'm not going to bother topping it. I'll top it in a week's time when I wash the car with something else, you know. But because this isn't that repellent, you almost want to put something on top of it to help with that hydrophobicity. Whenever you put something that's hydrophobic on top of something that isn't hydrophobic, this is something I've talked about with a couple of other guys, Wax Mode, if you're watching, we talked about this. You can see a dulling of the hydrophobic properties of the product on top, and I don't fully understand why, although I've got some ideas. So in other words, it'd be nice if this sealant was more hydrophobic as an AOY. Okay, another thing. The key to this is really, we're looking at gloss characteristics because we can measure them. Whereas this is supposed to be all about filling kind of swirls with pigmented product on black paintwork. Now, I've looked at the black panel under heavy light and I cannot see the difference in filling capability between the ceramic polish and the pigmented product, the pigmented polish, the black ceramic polish. And in the same way, my eyes cannot see any evidence of darkening or that pigment on the white panels. So in terms of this product's ability to really improve black paint, I think the problem is no one is going to be able to scientifically prove it, that there's any benefits. And I haven't been able to prove it with the equipment I've got. I think even if I had a colour meter, I'm not sure if I could prove it. So I'll just say that is what it is. I cannot prove that this black product has any real benefits over their normal polish, because these products perform so similar and the results are good, but they're good for both. And that leads me on to the next point. This product is cheaper than that one. Okay, so that's 18 quid, that's 22 quid, that's a 4 quid price difference. And this product, you shouldn't really, according to, you know, if you ask Turtle Wax, they would say it's for black cars. It's pretty obvious, you know, maybe very, very dark cars, you know. Don't use it on light coloured cars. Whereas this, you can use it on anything. So what I'm trying to say is it's cheaper and it's good. So it's hard to justify paying more to limit yourself using it on a black car if you can't see the improvement, is what I'm saying. Both polishes give the same gloss levels, which probably using the same abrasives. Turtle Wax use a very strange, not very strange, but I've not heard of it before. And the chemist, Mike, I don't know if you're watching, but he was gracious enough to explain to me, it's like a deck of cards. They use platelets, these flat abrasives that don't diminish. If you want to work the cut out, it's very mild abrasive in my opinion, but it's nice. If you want to work the cut more, you've got to just pressure more into it and use a harder pad. Both polishes give the same gloss levels. Black product did add haze, did add some haze, not a massive amount. Okay, end results of both polishes are very, very similar. Does black have any advantages in filling? That's a big question mark. Okay guys, I want to wrap this video up now. You can see it's a different day, I'm in a different shirt. These products, guys, I've gone through all the positives and negatives. Basically, which ones should you buy? I mean, this sounds really, really obvious. But if you've got a fleet of black cars and you're really into black cars, only black cars, and you're never going to use any of these products on other people's cars and stuff like that, then by all means, have a look at the ceramic black polish and black wax. Why? Because the performance of these products, whether it's the black products or the normal ones, the performance is incredible. They have taken a battered panel that's kicking out around 63 units of gloss and incremented that gloss by nearly 30 units. That's a massive increment. And 62 base units of gloss is considered mid gloss. They also took away 55 units of haze. So a heavily oxidized surface. They made it feel smooth, look reasonably glossy as a battered panel can go. And the performance of the products was virtually similar. My eyes cannot detect any effect of the pigment. Like I said before, I'd almost want a colour spectrometer, but I'm not even sure if that would pick it up. So you're taking a leap of faith with all the black stuff, guys, the pigmented stuff. Has this product convinced me that it's superior on black to non-pigmented products? No, it hasn't. That's the negative, but the positive is the general results of these products are really, really good. Now, you'll notice that non-abrasive products cannot, you know, you can't take a crappy, forgive my swearing, you can't take an awful panel and make it good with just like a, you know, a spray, water-based spray products. You need to polish it up. You need that abrasives to really bring up the gloss. So if you didn't know that, that's an old kind of detailing rule that is one of the truest things you'll ever hear. So getting that physical gloss into the paintwork with abrasives is where it's at. So which ones would I go for, guys? I would personally go for these ones. I don't have the pigments in the pads. They're cheaper and I can use them on every single color type or type of card, doesn't matter. I break down detailing differently to how Turtle Wax break it down. If I look at Turtle Wax's ranges of products, I try and break everything down into wash, pre-wash, wash, contact wash, decontamination, claying, fallout removers, tar and glue removers, abrasives, getting the paintwork nice, and then protecting the paintwork. When I look at Turtle Wax's range, it's more like it's geared towards solutions. Like, here's a set of products for sorting out a rag top. Here's a set of products for sorting out headlights. Here's some protection products. So the first thing I have to do is get my head around what Turtle Wax are doing. Now, where I'm going with this is, I am a detailing kind of, you know, I'm really into it, aren't I? I've got the channel and I've got all the gear and no idea. Most people aren't going to have as many detailing products as I've got. Look at the amount of pads I've got kicking around here. I've got drawers full of every pad known to man or beast, and another box of pads up there, thousands of pads, thousands of abrasives. I've got another shelf load of abrasives down there, I've got some more in there. You can basically have one abrasive and one pad, and this is it's quite a dense pad. It's not, there's a bit of resistance there. It's a dense, very fine pad. This quite interesting. It's a good quality pad, by the way, and it works well with this abrasive, which is quite a fine abrasive. So you can replace drawers of products and just have this and this. All of the results that I've achieved here are just with a quick set on a dual action polisher, but you could use it by hand and just work it on the panel, you know, follow the instructions, or just plonk the product on the machine and give it a quick blast with the machine. And that's all I did, and it really, really had a good transforming effect. So I've explained my kind of criteria, guys. I would be going with these. If you are a black car nut, then you can have a look at these. But it really does simplify detailing a little bit. I mean, there is no justification for the amount of products that I've got here, but I kind of like exploring it, guys. And like I've said, when you're doing pure paint correction, you don't want the all-in-ones necessarily when you're trying to gauge the true condition of the paint. But for guys at home, you forget all of that. You're not going to have all the lighting and everything like that. You're just going to want a product that's going to gloss up your paint, that's easy to use. And that, let's zoom in, that is going to deliver it, guys. So thank you very much for watching. I've nearly covered most of the Turtle Wax products that have been sent through. I've still got this ceramic wash and wax to test, and I'm not a big heavy user of those products, and I might just simply test that product up against a couple of other ones, ceramic ones that I've got over here, Adams and Tack Systems, and compare the performance, because I tend to learn a bit more about it. I've tested, we've done a video on that, and this one here, their 3-in-1 detailer, which I've used a couple of times, is going to go into a big detail shootout here, you know. So that will take a little bit more time to come, because I've got some more comparison videos to do on sealants and tyre dressings and loads of other stuff. But really enjoying it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll stick a link for all the products in the description. Take care, and you know, stay safe with this worrying time with COVID. We are end of April as I shoot this. I'm hoping in May the restrictions are reduced, but who knows. You know, just take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.
was I who